Hey, it's Kevin, and I am here at the AI in Logistics event brought to you by ShipHero at the LVK Fulfillment Center here in Las Vegas. And I'm going to be joined by Yosef Haas, who is the head of product for ShipHero. And we are going to talk today about their AI picking feature, which has been a lot of buzz about over the summer here. So we're going to dive a little bit into what that is exactly. I guess first, tell us, though, what's your take on the event today?
Oh, it's been great so far.
Yeah.
Some really great sessions by ShipHero customers and
Mm.
how they use AI. So I think that to me that's been extremely valuable. So other 3PLs can see, how are people in the industry using it? So it's not just us as a software, like how are we using it, but how are 3PL operators using it in their own warehouse and in their own operation. So that's been really valuable and been some great feedback so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So now tell us from the Ship Hero perspective, because you guys have been talking about AI for a couple months now and how you're bringing it in, and it's really exciting for you all, right? So tell us exactly, what is AI picking?
So AI picking is basically trying to answer two questions. Which orders should be picked in a batch, and what is the most efficient way to pick those orders?
Mm.
So it's kind of two sides of the same process. But basically, what we do is we look at all the orders that need to be picked and figure out which orders should be picked together in the same batch to reduce the walk essentially. So to minimize how far your picker has to walk, how many steps they have to take, to just make faster batches, right? To lower the pick time. Um, and then once we do that, we look at, okay, for all these items that are in the batch, what is the most efficient route?
Mm.
And it makes a huge difference, right? So if you think about any kind of GPS, how you get there makes a big difference. So whether you go down the aisle, then make a left and go back up the aisle, or go in and then come back up the aisle and skip two aisles and come back, and doing that and seeing how much that's helped in reducing the steps that people take, like by like 30%,
Wow.
has been amazing. So it's again, like which order to pick, and then what's the fastest way to pick them. And I think one of the best things about it is it's a very low investment. So we do a map of the warehouse, and the map, we use some AI tools to help create the map. But basically, people fill out a form, like how many aisles do you have, what's your width between the aisles, and then get on a call with them for a couple of hours just to refine the map. And we're able to generate a map, basically a CAD file that our system can use. And using that, we know every location, the distance between each location, and then we can calculate the steps needed to take, and what is the most efficient path to pick those orders.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, 30% improvement.
Yeah,
That's good,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And very interesting there too. So I guess tell us in contrast, right, without the AI picking and figuring out that path of how that picker is going to go through their task and their operation. What is kind of like the traditional way that happens?
Yeah, yeah. So traditional is kind of the snake pattern. So you go, up one aisle
Hmm.
and come back around and just go down the next aisle. And a lot of wasted steps. Yeah, because you may have to go from one end of the aisle to the other end, and you're walking that entire path for really no reason. And what we found is by being able to understand that we're going to pass that the end of the aisle later anyway. So
Mm.
don't do it now, do it later. And so you cut out a lot of steps. And again, just doing that alone has saved a significant number of steps, which saves time, which means you can get more out. And another kind of side benefit is less congestion. So
Yeah.
less steps taken, less people in the aisles. That's a big concern, especially during peak season when a lot of people picking. Congestion can really slow you down. And so just by having people in the aisle less reduces that congestion and just has an overall positive impact on the whole operation.
Yeah, and very interesting too. And so tell us, I mean, how did this kind of, unfold, right? Because you have, the base WMS, right,
Yeah.
as a ship hero, right, and then this is kind of like an add-on on top. So how did the discovery of this or like the ideation kind of come to fruition that like, we could take something beyond the WMS and improve this path?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something that we're always focused on. It's kind of an obsession, like how to become more efficient. And we've thought about so many different things, robotics and many other systems that can do a great job, but have a significant cost to get into. And this kind of started as can we make it better more efficient batches. Can we use a map to figure out like the pick path? And like our first iteration was, we're going to send somebody down to your warehouse and they're going to spend a week there measuring everything and mapping it. And that was a whole layer on top of it that would have been difficult. And
Sure.
then we were able to, through some very creative use of AI, build tools to help create those maps. And that just made that barrier to entry so much lower. So it was definitely an iterative process to get to this point, and there's still more we want to do. Um, but yeah, it's been I think that focus of how do we be more efficient? How do we reduce the labor and how much time people are spending doing the different tasks? That's kind of a singular focus, and just keep chipping away at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really interesting to kind of explore that. And I love that you said too that, some of the other solutions maybe that look at that are more cost heavy, right? Like a robotics
Yeah.
perspective, as you mentioned there. So now from a user perspective, right? AI picking gets implemented, gets turned on. What does the picker that's actually doing the work, do they feel any difference? Do they see any difference? Is there any difference in what they're doing?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the big things we added is a map. So basically a map of the
Okay.
warehouse. So on their iPad, they're told which item to pick. It shows them where to pick it from, and then where they are now to have how to get to that next spot.
Mm.
So the path they should be taking, and that's something we're consistently and constantly improving as well. So adding reference points, because if you're looking at a map and you're standing this way versus that way, obviously the map looks very different. So adding reference points in the warehouse, having the map rotate as you turn, so you know exactly where you are. So improving that user experience for the picker. Um, but one of the big things we've really pushed for in AI picking is the picker should have one task at a time. So in the current, or kind of, I guess, the existing model, they can see their whole list of items they have to pick, and a lot of people kind of make their own paths, and because they look down the list and say, oh, I have to go there, let me go grab it.
Yeah.
And what we found is that's just not efficient, and we can be a lot more efficient by just directing them, first go here, then go there, then go there.
Mm.
So with AI picking, you see one item at a time, and you pick that item. It shows you where to go. It shows you the path, and it's very easy to use, very user friendly. The map has been a great addition, and so yeah, it is a little bit of a change, but it's very natural, right? It's not a really not a change in the process, just a change in what they're looking at. So it's easier and very natural in a way.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're probably walking less steps, I imagine,
But yeah,
too, which
yeah, absolutely.
which they'll be happy about in the long term,
Yeah,
I'm sure, even if they don't realize it, maybe.
yeah.
But so, now talk to us too about kind of, like, what's your view on AI and how to, I guess, bring AI into logistics, which this event is all about. How do you view that, and how do you think people should be approaching that in their operations?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many different places it can be used. It's not about how do we make everything different, but how do we chip away at things that are manual processes that are repetitive. How do we help with training? How do we help with a big topic this morning has been SOPs. How do we document their SOPs? How do we train with the SOPs? So there's so many different areas it can be used, and the barrier to entry is so low. You don't need to be able to code or really understand what's happening, but you're able to do it with very little effort. So I think there's so many different places it can be used, and um, the advantages and the return on investment is so high. So if anybody's not doing it, just start. Right?
Yeah.
It's easy to start. It's easy to try, and you'll be surprised. I mean, one of the presentations today, from somebody at ShipHero, Alex, built what was called Pod Hero, which is for print on demand. He's not an engineer. He vibe coded it,
Yeah.
but basically building a tool to help people do print on demand. There are specific workflows. They need specific things, but build a tool to kind of run that process. So that's I would say more significant. Software. It's not just one little tool, but there's so many small tools you can build for yourself internally that only you know, only you as an operator know that this is a pain point. This is where I can use some help, and you can just build something. Like you
Yeah.
could just do it. So yeah, I think just the power of it and how it can be used is yeah, it's really almost endless.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's pretty incredible to see that, and just see some of the examples of what people are doing here at today's event, and hearing some of the stuff you all are doing too at Shapiro. So one of the things about AI, right, is that it kind of allows us to do things more quickly and faster, and it just gets better over time. Like there's more iterations
Yeah.
and things like that. So with AI picking, how do you kind of see that evolving? What does the evolution of that look like for operators?
Yeah, I mean, for us, for AI picking, it's improving the algorithms, improving like how does it actually figure out
Mm,
what data is important to understand, like what context is important for the AI to know what to pick where. There's also adding the other parts of the process like put away. So
mm,
obviously picking is great, but put away is a big part of it as well. If you put
sure.
things in a more intelligent way, that's going to reduce your walk as well. So there's different sides of the coin to address it from. But yeah, I think it's more about just be iterating on how good it is, and what makes the picker's job faster,
Right.
right? So like the map has been one iteration, changing the perspective and giving reference points and having the map turn as you turn. Um, has been another thing where very quickly iterating, right? Very
Yeah.
quickly when you're in the warehouse, you can see very quickly what is a pain point. Is this working well? Is it not? And we're able to very quickly make changes and just improve it.
Yeah, yeah, that's great, and I think that put away point is really important too,
Yeah,
because like you're saying, I can almost see it in my mind, right? If you put something more strategically away, then that's also going to impact on the picking in a positive way too, as
yeah.
well. So kind of bringing that together is really smart. So really appreciate you sitting down with us here and tell us all
But
about AI picking at the AI and Logistics event from ShipHero, and we'll definitely put all the information on how to find out more about AI picking in the show notes. So, Yosef, thank you once again.
thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, the New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesAreSexy.com and get your own.